Hello everyone, and welcome. In this video, we'll be diving into the world of Power BI, focusing specifically on one of the most important concepts, basic visualizations. This session is brought to you by ZoomInData, your space for learning business intelligence and data analytics. So, let's get started and understand how Power BI connects to different data sources and why this process is so essential in today's data-driven world. First question: what is the difference between a table visual and a matrix visual? A table visual displays data in a flat, two-dimensional format without hierarchical grouping, making it suitable for showing detailed rows of data. A matrix visual supports rows, columns, and multiple levels of hierarchy, similar to an Excel pivot table, allowing you to drill down or expand categories. A matrix visual allows subtotaling and cross-tab analysis, while a table focuses only on listing records. Matrix visuals offer pivot-style summarization like year to month or region to city, which is not possible in a table. Second question: when would you use a card visual, and what type of metrics are suitable for it? A card visual is used when you want to display a single key metric prominently, such as total sales, total patients, revenue, or profit. It helps highlight core KPIs by showing the number in a bold and clean design that draws user attention. Card visuals simplify dashboards by summarizing data instead of overwhelming the user with too many details. They are ideal for aggregated measures like counts, sums, averages, and percentages. Third question: explain the difference between clustered bar and clustered column charts. A clustered bar chart displays categories on the vertical axis and values horizontally, making it suitable when category names are long. A clustered column chart displays categories horizontally and values vertically, commonly used for comparing values across time. Bar charts are preferred for categorical comparisons, while column charts are better for time period comparisons like monthly or yearly trends. Column charts work well when the audience expects top-to-bottom growth, whereas bar charts help avoid clutter when labels need space. Fourth question: when should you use a line chart instead of a column chart? Line charts are ideal when you want to analyze trends over time, such as daily sales, monthly patients, or yearly performance. They work better for continuous data, where the relationship between points matters and smooth patterns are needed. Line charts help visualize patterns, seasonality, and fluctuations more clearly than columns. Use line charts when comparing multiple measures becomes cluttered in column graphs. Fifth question: what are the limitations of pie and donut charts? Pie and donut charts are difficult to read when there are many categories, as slices become too small to compare accurately. They cannot display trends or comparisons over time, making them limited to single metric snapshots only. Human eyes struggle to interpret angle differences, making them less precise than bar or column charts. Best practice is to use them only when you have 2 to 5 categories with clearly different values. Sixth question: how do you enable drill down in a bar or column or line chart? To enable drill down, you need to add fields of multiple hierarchy levels, such as year to month to day, into the axis section of the visual. After adding hierarchy levels, turn on the drill down icon on the top left corner of the visual. Users can click on bars or columns to move to the next level of detail in the hierarchy. Drill down helps users explore summarized data in greater depth without switching visuals. Seventh question: How do you add data labels, legends, and titles to a visual? Data labels can be enabled by selecting the visual, then going to Format, then turning on Data Labels to show values on the chart. Legends are added automatically when more than one series is used, and they can be formatted from the Format pane, then Legend section. Visual titles can be customized by enabling title and editing the text for better clarity, such as monthly patient admissions. Formatting options like color, font size, and positioning help improve readability and make dashboards more professional. 8th question. What are the best practices for using a matrix visual with hierarchies? Use a matrix when you need to show data across multiple levels, such as category then subcategory then product, to allow drill down and drill up interactions. Enable stepped layout or indentation to make hierarchical levels easier for users to understand visually. Apply subtotals and formatting to highlight major groups, making the structure more readable and organized. Keep hierarchies limited to meaningful levels to avoid visual clutter and maintain dashboard performance. 9th question. When should you use a combination chart, line and clustered column? A combination chart is best used when you want to compare two different types of measures, such as sales amount, columns, versus profit margin, line. It helps show both absolute values and trends in one visual, reducing the need for multiple charts on a dashboard. It becomes effective when one metric has large values and the other has small values, making it difficult to compare using the same chart type. Combo charts provide deeper insights by linking trends and totals in a single view. 10th question. How do you enable conditional formatting in a table or matrix visual? Select the table or matrix visual, click the drop-down beside the field you want to format, and choose Conditional Formatting from the menu. You can apply formatting based on rules, color scales, field values, or icons, depending on the requirement. Conditional formatting highlights important patterns, such as high performers in green or low performers in red. This makes tables and matrices more analytical by visually separating key values from normal values. 11th question. How do you create a dashboard that shows total patients, admissions by month, and department-wise distribution using basic visuals? Start by creating card visuals for key KPIs like total patients, total admissions, and total discharges to give an instant overview of performance on the dashboard. Add a line chart for admissions by month to show the trend over time and help identify patterns such as seasonal increases or decreases. Insert a donut or bar chart to display department-wise patient distribution, enabling easy comparison between departments. Use slices for date and department to allow dynamic filtering so users can instantly interact with the dashboard. 12th question. How do you format a clustered column chart to make monthly performance easier to read? Open the Format pane and turn on Data Labels so that each column displays its exact value, making it easier for users to interpret numbers. Add a title like Monthly Patient Admissions and increase the font size for clarity and professional presentation. Adjust the x-axis to show month names in full or short form, and apply custom sorting using a sort by column to ensure the months appear in the correct order. Modify the colors, grid lines, and background to improve readability while maintaining a clean and minimal visual appearance. 13th question. How do we filter a report page so that it shows only the data for the year 2024 and the department cardiology? First, apply a page level filter on the year field and set it to 2024. This ensures that every visual on the page displays only data for that year. Next, add a slicer for department and select cardiology. This makes the entire page show information only for that department, while still allowing the user to change the department if needed. Finally, make sure all tables and visuals are connected correctly in the data model so that the slicer and filters work together. This setup creates a clean and focused dashboard for analyzing performance in the cardiology department. 14th question. What is the difference between a slicer and a report filter? A slicer is a visual element placed directly on the report canvas that allows users to interactively filter data by clicking buttons, lists, or drop-downs. A report filter, applied from the Filters pane, does not appear visually on the report and provides background filtering that users may not directly see. Slicers are ideal for user-driven exploration, while report filters are useful for enforcing default or hidden filters that should apply throughout the report. Slicers improve user experience by providing clear, interactive filtering, whereas report filters keep the layout clean by avoiding additional visuals. 15th question. What are the 3 filter levels, and when do you use each? Visual level filters apply only to the selected visual and are used when a specific chart needs a custom filter different from the rest of the page. Page level filters filter all visuals on a single report page and are ideal when building topic-based dashboards such as a monthly summary page. Report level filters apply to the entire report across all pages, making them suitable for enforcing global conditions such as filtering by region or year. These 3 levels help control filtering scope in a structured and consistent way across the report. 16th question. What is the purpose of sync slices in Power BI? Sync slices allow the same slicer selection to be shared across multiple report pages, ensuring a consistent filtering experience for the user. They reduce user effort by eliminating the need to repeatedly select the same filter on separate pages. Sync slices improve multi-page reports where the same dimension, such as date, region, or department, must stay consistent across pages. They also allow you to display slices only on certain pages while still applying their filter to others. 17th question. How do you create a date slicer with options like last 7 days or this month? Add a slicer visual and drag a date field into it, such as admission date or order date. Change the slicer type to relative date from the slicer options to enable dynamic selections like last 7 days, last month, or this year. Relative date slices automatically update based on today's date, making them ideal for live dashboards. These slices help track real-time trends without manually adjusting the date filters. 18th question. What is a hierarchy slicer, and how do you create one? A hierarchy slicer displays multiple levels of a dimension such as country, then state, then city, allowing users to filter data at any level. To create one, place multiple fields in the slicer visual in a hierarchical order, ensuring the data model supports the relationship. Users can expand or collapse levels to view detailed filtering options, similar to a tree structure. Hierarchy slices improve navigation when working with large dimensional data. 19th question. Why does a slicer sometimes not filter certain visuals? A slicer may not filter a visual if the fields are not connected through relationships in the data model, causing the slicer to have no filter context. If a visual contains measures or fields from disconnected tables, the slicer will not influence those visuals. The visual might also be using fields not related to the slice's field, preventing the filter from propagating. Incorrect relationship directions such as inactive or single direction filters can also block slicer filtering. 20th question. What is a disconnected slicer, and where is it used? A disconnected slicer is a slicer that is not related to any table in the data model, meaning it does not filter data directly. It is commonly used for what-if analysis, scenario selection, or allowing users to choose different measures or KPIs from a list. The value selected from the disconnected slicer is typically used inside DAX measures to control logic or switching behavior. It provides flexibility for customization without modifying existing data relationships. 21st question. How do you add a search box inside a slicer, and why is it useful? A search box can be enabled by clicking on the slicer and turning on the search option from the slicer format settings. The search bar allows users to quickly find items in long lists, such as customer names, product SKUs, or cities. It speeds up navigation and reduces the time spent scrolling through lengthy slicer lists. It improves usability, especially in dashboards with large datasets or many categorical fields. 22nd question. You added a date slicer, but the line chart is not updating when you select a date range. How do you fix this? One common reason is that the date field used in the slicer is from a different table that is not connected to the fact table, so you must check and create the correct relationship in the model view. The line chart may be using a different date column than the slicer, so you must ensure both visuals are based on the same date field or use a proper date table related with one-to-many direction. The relationship between the date table and the fact table may be inactive, so you need to activate it or use DAX like USERELATIONSHIP if you require a secondary date field. The visual might have existing page or visual level filters that override the slicer, so reviewing the filters pane helps identify any conflicting filters. 23rd question. You want one slicer to control multiple report pages. How do you achieve this? You can use sync slicers, which allow a slicer selected on one page to be synchronized across multiple pages without manually duplicating it. First, add the slicer on one report page, then open the view right-pointing arrow sync slicer pane and enable both sync and visible for the pages where you want the slicer to apply. This feature ensures that users get a consistent filtering experience across the report, especially when using global filters like date, region, or product category. Sync slices reduce repetitive actions for the end user, making multi-page dashboards far easier to interact with. 24th question. How do you apply custom sorting, for example sort months chronologically? Power BI allows custom sorting by using the Sort by Column feature, where a logical numeric column, like month number, is used to control the order of another column, like month name. You must open the data view, select the month name column, and choose Sort by Column right-pointing arrow month number to ensure months appear in January to December order instead of alphabetical order. After applying the Sort by Column rule, every visual using the month name will automatically follow the correct chronological sequence. This method is essential for time-based analysis because alphabetical sorting results in incorrect patterns and misleading trends. 25th question. What is conditional formatting, and how do you apply it to visuals? Conditional formatting allows Power BI to dynamically color visuals based on rules or measure values, helping users quickly identify trends, highs, lows, or exceptions. You can apply it by selecting a visual next by opening the Format or Values drop-down, then choosing Conditional Formatting and selecting options like background color, font color, data bars, or icons. Rules can be based on fields, color scales, percentages, thresholds, or custom DAX measures for complete control. This feature improves data interpretation by visually highlighting important metrics such as low sales, negative profit, or high anomalies. 26th question. How do you create a custom tooltip page in Power BI? You can create a tooltip page by adding a new report page and adjusting its page size. Click on Tooltip so it becomes a small pop-up style layout. After designing the page with charts, KPIs, or text, you must set page information, then turn on Tooltip, making the page eligible to be used as a custom tooltip. To apply it, select any visual, then go to Format Visual Next Tooltip, then choose Report Page and select your tooltip page. Custom tooltips offer deeper insights by displaying additional data when users hover over a visual without overcrowding the main report. 27th question. What is the difference between default visual tooltips and report page tooltips? Default visual tooltips automatically show basic information like category names, values, and tooltips fields when hovering over a visual. Report page tooltips allow you to design a customized mini-report that appears as a tooltip, including charts, KPIs, and icons. Report page tooltips provide richer context and multi-metric insights, whereas default tooltips are limited to simple, preset values. Custom tooltips help maintain a clean dashboard because detailed information is only visible on hover, not permanently displayed. 28th question. How do you modify the background, borders, and grid lines of a visual? You can modify these elements from the Format Visual pane, which contains options for background color, border styles, and grid line adjustments. The background option allows you to set colors, adjust transparency, or apply theme-based styling to improve readability. The border settings let you enable or disable borders, choose thickness, and apply rounded corners for a cleaner design. Grid lines for charts can be customized in terms of color, spacing, and thickness, helping improve clarity in visuals like bar and line charts. 29th question. How do you sort a bar or column chart by a measure instead of a category? You can sort by a measure by selecting the chart and clicking the ellipsis, then sort by, then choosing the measure instead of the category field. Sorting by measure helps highlight highest or lowest performing categories, making the chart more actionable for decision-making. Power BI allows both ascending and descending options, allowing users to analyze top or bottom performers. This type of sorting is especially useful in sales, revenue, and performance dashboards where ranking matters. 30th question. How do we enable drill-through using tooltips for more detailed insights? Drill-through tooltips help users explore deeper information from a single data point. They allow a user to right-click a value and move to a detailed report page that focuses only on that category. To set it up, create a new page and design it with detailed visuals. Then, place a field such as product, customer, or region into the drill-through filters area. After this is done, right-clicking on any data point in a visual will show an option to drill through to the detailed page. This feature makes analysis easier by giving focused and contextual insights without crowding the main dashboard. 31st question. Your bar chart is showing months in alphabetical order instead of January to December. How do you fix this? Power BI sorts text fields alphabetically by default. That is why months appear as April, August, December, instead of January to December. To correct this, use a month number column. Go to Data View, select the month name column, and choose Sort by column. Then select month number. After applying this sorting rule, every visual using month name will follow the correct chronological order automatically. This ensures accurate trend analysis and avoids misleading patterns caused by alphabetical sorting. 30-second question. You want to display extra details like profit, region, and trend line when hovering over a bar chart. How do you achieve this using a custom tooltip page? First, create a new page and change its page size to tooltip. This automatically adjusts the page into a small tooltip layout. Next, turn on page information and set tooltip to on. Then build the mini report by adding visuals such as KPIs, cards, or small trend charts. After designing the tooltip page, go back to the main bar chart. Open the Format pane, go to Tooltip, choose Report Page, and select the tooltip page you created. Now, when users hover over a bar, a detailed tooltip appears, giving deeper insights without cluttering the main visual. 33rd question. Your matrix table has too many numbers and looks cluttered. How can you use formatting to improve readability? You can apply conditional formatting such as color scales or data bars to highlight important values and make patterns stand out. Enabling row and column subtotals while turning off unnecessary headers can simplify the visual structure for better understanding. Adjusting grid lines, font size, and background colors can help separate different sections, making the table visually clear. Turning on stepped layout or using hierarchy indentation improves navigation when dealing with multiple levels of data. 34th question. What is a KPI visual in Power BI, and when should you use it? A KPI visual is used to show the performance of a key business metric by comparing the current value against a target, helping users quickly understand whether performance is on track. It includes key elements such as the actual value, the target value, a trend line, and a color indicator showing performance status. You should use a KPI visual when you want to display one key metric in a clear and simple way, especially for executive dashboards. It is best suited for metrics like total sales, total patients, conversion rate, or monthly revenue performance. 35th question. How do you create a card visual to show KPIs like total patients or average stay? To create a card visual, you need to select the card from the Visualizations pane and drag a numerical measure such as total patients or average stay into the Values field. The card automatically displays the aggregated value, making it ideal for showing single-number KPIs that need high visibility. You can format the card by adjusting font size, background, borders, and category label to make the KPI stand out on the dashboard. Cards are best used for simple KPIs that do not require target comparison or trend analysis. 36th question. How do you add a target versus actual comparison in a KPI visual? You must create or import a target measure, such as a fixed target value or a DAX calculated dynamic target, to enable comparison. In the KPI visual, the actual measure goes into the indicator field, while the target measure goes into the target goals field. Power BI will automatically display whether the current value is above or below the target, along with directional indicators and trends. This helps stakeholders quickly identify performance gaps without needing detailed analysis. 37th question. How do you use conditional formatting colors, red, green, yellow, for KPI status? You can apply color formatting by using a DAX measure that returns a color value, example, red, green, yellow, based on specific KPI rules. After creating the rule-based measure, apply it to the data label color or background color using conditional formatting right-pointing arrow field value. For example, performance above target may be green, slightly below could be yellow, and far below may turn red. This color-coded status helps users instantly interpret KPI performance without reading the numeric values. 38th question. What are the differences between a card, KPI visual, and gauge visual? A card displays a single number without comparisons, making it ideal for simple KPIs like total patients or total revenue. A KPI visual shows actual versus target along with a trend indicator, helping users understand performance direction over time. A gauge visual displays performance within a range using a circular meter, making it visually appealing for showing progress or completion percentage. Cards are simple and clean, KPIs are comparison-focused, and gauges are visually expressive for progress-based KPIs. 39th question. How do you create a KPI selector to switch between different metrics? You can create a KPI selector by building a disconnected table that contains metric names such as total patients, AVG stay, or readmission rate. Then, create a DAX measure using switch, or IF, to return the selected metric value based on slicer choice. The visual uses this dynamic measure so the KPI changes automatically depending on user selection. This setup allows dashboards to display multiple KPIs using a single visual, reducing clutter and improving user interaction. 40th question. What are best practices for displaying KPIs on a dashboard? You should place KPIs at the top of the dashboard so users can immediately see overall performance without scrolling. Use consistent colors, formatting, and layout to ensure all KPIs look uniform and easy to compare. Avoid overcrowding by displaying only the most critical metrics and using tooltips or drill-through for detailed data. Ensure KPIs are built on accurate measures and have clearly defined targets to avoid misinterpretation. 41st question. Your KPI visual is not showing the target value even though you added a target measure. How do you fix this? A common reason for a KPI target not showing is that the target value is not aggregated correctly. Power BI needs a single numeric value, not a column with multiple rows. To fix this, create a measure such as target equals max, target table, target. This gives the KPI visual one clear target value to use. Next, check the relationship between the target table and the fact table. If the relationship is incorrect or missing, the KPI cannot display the target. Finally, open the Format pane, go to Indicator Settings, and make sure the target line and the goal labels are turned on. These steps ensure the KPI visual displays the target correctly. 42nd question. You want to show KPI status colors, red, green, yellow, on a card visual based on performance versus target. How do you implement this? First, create a DAX measure that checks the KPI performance. The measure should return color names such as green when the actual value is above the target, yellow when it is slightly below, and red when it is far below the target. Next, select the card visual and open the Format pane. Go to Data Label, choose Conditional Formatting, and select Field Value. Then map it to the measure that returns the colors. Power BI will now change the card text color automatically based on the logic in the DAX measure. This creates a clear and meaningful KPI indicator without adding extra visuals or explanations on the dashboard. Thank you for watching this session. If you have any questions, you are welcome to contact ZoomInData through our website, email, or phone. We're always here to support your learning journey. See you in the next video.